A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
If you're looking for the real help, baby
Hello,
bar.
welcome to FYLSE Real Help to Pass That Baby Bar. I'm here today doing a spousal podcast. So today I have my husband, it's me, the BP learned hand, and we are going to be covering that 3L wall. It is a real thing. So I'd like to welcome my husband.
Hello.
Hey. So we are discussing the wall.
It's a real thing.
You think so?
Yes.
I guess maybe you see it better than I do.
I would also say so.
Well, I'm in the wall. I mean, it's like the forest from the trees thing. Like, I don't see it. You see it. I don't see it. I just know I hate it.
You're not alone. I hate it too.
Well, I mean, at this point, because it's an online law school, like, if I was at a brick and mortar, at this point, it'd be done.
You're
3L
at
would
brick
be...
and mortar. I don't know how this would all work out.
But in a brick and mortar, you do 3 years and then you're done. Online law school supposedly is part-time, which is why there's 4 years.
I'm worried about how the fourth year is going to go.
You're worried about it. I'm more concerned with the fact they call this a part-time program.
Like, academically, I think you're going to do fine. But for like a year now, at the end of the night, just, oh my, at the end of the night.
Well, it gets to a point where it feels boring. I mean, you're really in, like, okay, so the first year, totally into it, right?
Yes, you were very enthusiastic about the first year. Things went well in the first year.
There were problems.
There
in
were
the first
problems
year.
here and there, but
Yeah.
for the most part, everyone was happy during your first year, even you.
Yes. Second year, a little more strife.
It's starting to get a little bit rougher.
Yeah, a little more, yeah. Oh, God, they're boring.
And third year, it is now impossible to watch a movie with you. Just impossible.
Not impossible.
No, it's impossible.
You think so? I was going to say impractical.
If you don't stop the movie, like pause it every 5 minutes because you have no attention span anymore.
It's not interesting.
Everything in the world is boring to you now. You're
No.
like a burned out coke addict.
That is not true.
Everything is uninteresting and unhelpful and frustrating.
We watched that movie with Denzel Washington.
No, we watched 15 minutes of that movie and then you turned it off and said you had to watch it alone.
Well, because you were complaining about me complaining about all the
Because you
problems
would not
with it.
stop pausing it and complaining.
Well, because there were too many.
I wanted to watch the goddamn movie.
It was wrong.
It's like when I sit down and try to read a book and our youngest son hits me in the face with paper so that I will get him more paper.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't make movies that are wrong, okay? First off.
It's a movie.
Yeah, but it's a movie. But you know what? This is the problem. Okay, you want to get down to brass tacks.
No, I don't. Please don't. Please don't get down to
I'm going to
brass
take you to
tacks.
brass tacks. All right?
No.
Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the problem. If you're going to make a movie about the law, make it right. Quit making Americans dumb. Right?
You know what was a good movie about the law?
Oh,
Judge
God.
Dredd.
Oh, stop that. All right, look. If we lived in Soviet Russia, yes, then we could play Judge. But no, seriously, like if you're going to make a movie like that, then you should at least make it accurate. You should at least, I don't know, make some words up that sound like law words. Don't just, I mean, come on. Americans are already, everyone already complains that we're dumb enough as it is. Do we really need to make movies that perpetuate the stupidity of Americans?
No, we don't. But at the same time, I would like to watch the movie.
Ugh.
And you do not let me do that.
I don't want to watch the movie if it's inaccurate.
This is why when you're doing class or you're tutoring, I put in my headphones and I finally get to sit down and watch what I want to fucking watch.
But it's not my... Okay, look. It's not my fault that Americans are not school in civics, first off.
Like, I'm going to get a second computer so that I can play the video games I want to play while you're
But
doing
that
school.
is so boring.
And you think it's boring. It's fun for me, and I want you to leave me alone.
I do leave you. Do I not leave you alone?
You do not.
How do I not leave you alone?
Because you will read your email, turn to me, and you will say something like, "Oh, this is bullshit. This is bullshit." And then I've got to take out headphones, find out what's bullshit, and then I have to listen to you explain why it's bullshit, and then when your back is turned, look in your book over here so that I can understand why you think it's bullshit. You tack on 6 hours of study time to my day, and I'm not even studying law.
Well, that's your own problem. I mean, like, I kind of feel bad, but mostly I don't. I'm going to sound really horrible in this podcast, but I mostly don't. But you know what, though? I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to finish this sentence. Because in my head, it's already formed. It's already there. This is what's wrong with America. You don't understand.
I'll tell you what's wrong with America.
Oh.
Democracy.
Oh my goodness. You know what? When I go for my good moral character, you are gonna be the problem. You.
God save the Queen.
Oh my goodness. What was the topic?
We were talking about the wall, the 3L wall.
We should have written that down. That should have been the call to the question. It was not written down, so I have now.
He's talking about the call to the question.
But it's important. And look, if you ever want to fight with me, you better form it in the phrase of the call of the question, all right? Because otherwise, it's just all theoretical.
If we ever really fight, I'm not gonna use words. I'm just gonna yell because I know I can yell louder than you. That's my only chance of winning.
But I'll just ignore you like I normally do.
That's fine.
This is why going to marriage counseling didn't work. Because the marriage counselor wasn't forming it in the call of the question.
The marriage counselor did not understand fully the implications of you being a law student.
And she didn't understand the implications of you being a hard-headed, crazy nutbag.
No, I want to be left alone.
You don't want to. You're like the most disgruntled vet ever. Like, you know, if you were like 10 years older, I could get away with calling you a Vietnam vet with how disgruntled you are. Unfortunately, you're just, what do they call it? Like freedom? Like Iraqi.
Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Oh, yeah. See?
The greatest misnomer known to man.
Yeah, but see, you get all like particular about the terms for Operation
Anyway,
Iraqi
the
Freedom.
3L wall is real. And the signs and symptoms are a complete lack of interest in anything that is not the call of the question.
I'm not even going to go down the path. There's so many paths I can go down with the call of the question.
Like,
they don't even follow it in 3L.
Like,
they don't even give you a call.
Oh
they just say, answer this question, but don't follow Iraq. Like, how are you supposed to do that? Okay, sidetrack.
Like, honey, look at this amazing spider I found, and then you want to talk about Miranda rights.
Well, you could be arresting the spider.
I'm not arresting the spider.
Yeah, but you are.
I'm not a government authority anymore.
But, I mean, in spider world, you could be.
I doubt it.
Who knows? I can't get into it anymore. I'm done. I'm so bored with it. Like, the interesting stuff was done. Maybe that is why they do all the interesting stuff at the beginning. Like 1 and 2L.
To trap you.
It's to trap you. And you're like,
convince you the rest of it will be just as interesting.
And then you get to 3L and you're like, oh.
No, because you're already more than halfway through. They can throw all the bullshit at you.
Yeah, you can't quit. You're done.
Oh, it's like boot camp.
Which is what I've been saying since the beginning.
We're going to teach you how to use guns, and then we're going to give you 6 months of mopping.
See?
This is how you are. This is how to be a janitor.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that is the 3L wall. Though I think, like in 1L, I had this overwhelming feeling of I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. You know, it was just a crushing, defeating feeling. 2L was this. Oh my God, what's going on? Why are they doing this? Why would they treat me like this? I mean, it's almost like, I don't know. I would hate to say being a prisoner of war because I've never been that way. And someone will inevitably offended like that. But, and that's how you feel into it. Like, why are they doing this to me? I don't know what's going on. Why are they not teaching me? Why are they just giving me? And then you get to 3L and you're like, oh, they don't care anymore. I'm just here. They're just throwing some boring nonsense at me.
They already got the money out of you.
Yeah, they got the money out of me. And here I am. I am a guy alone on the internet doing research. Like if I was a fan of a musician, I'd be a stalker. Like that's all I would be at this point. Just a stalker.
I used to be an author. I used to write books, but I needed my desktop computer to do that. And I haven't seen it in 3 years.
That's your own damn fault. I give you my laptop. Make it work.
Your laptop is crap and you know it.
I'm gonna make it work. Well, now you're a victim of the wall. Take that.
I know I am. I am the spouse of a law student. It is not an enviable position.
But the good news is, so I'm almost halfway through 3L. Right? That's a good thing.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, I can't imagine.
I am desperately hoping that your elective classes in your...
I have no idea what's going on.
I just really hope that maybe they're nice.
No, they never
Probably
are.
not.
Probably not. My
Like, you wander around the house with a vague look of just constant disappointment and frustration.
I don't know if that's just 3L or if it, like, I don't know if all schools go through changes or if it's just my school.
I think a lot of it probably has to do with the wonky changes happening.
But it might also be, from what I've kind of gathered from other people, is that that's just kind of the way it happens.
I think a whole lot of it is, like you said, they gave you all the boring, drag you slowly through the mud. Here's 365 days of the color gray.
Yeah, I know what Battleship Gray or, Soviet Gray, or I know what that color looks like. I dream in that color now. But then it's, it's no negative onto the schools, first off.
No, I just think it's the subject matter that you're required to study right now.
And it is. But you know what, though? I almost feel like it has more of a negative effect on my life right now than 1L did. When I was terrified that this was a waste of our money and time, and now I'm in this place where I just want to beat my head into the computer screen and scream at people.
When you were worried about 1L and things not working out with studying law and such, you were at least motivated to do things, to try and conquer 1L, basically. 3L doesn't give you that satisfaction.
Nope.
And there's an obvious side effect or two to that.
I don't know. You say I like meander about like a zombie.
You don't. You don't meander about like a zombie. You meander about like you're just disappointed. You just look disappointed and jaded and
like a sad old 80-year-old man.
Yeah, like
just
you're just fucking tired of everybody and you're tired of everything and you're just hanging around waiting for the cold grass, sweet release of death to save you.
Well, that's kind of how you feel about finals. They're just like the cold grass above that. Like, give it to me straight.
Like we can't watch movies anymore. There's always a problem with the movie.
Well,
I can't talk to you about books.
Well, okay.
If I see, these days when I see an interesting news story, I don't tell you about it because a 6-hour lecture will follow.
Why don't you? I tell you about all the stuff I see.
And the stuff you see, you add lawyer commentary to it, and that is confusing for me. And then I have to go study the law to find out what you're saying.
But it's interesting, though. It's more interesting than it would have been if it was just normally, thrown out.
I guess. Maybe.
I guess maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's different.
Yes.
It's different because you don't really appreciate the nonsense that has gone into understanding the ridiculousness.
I understand.
No, you don't. It's not the same.
That's the other thing is you always say that I don't understand. I go through a lot of effort to understand, and it is amazingly irritating and just insulting when you tell me that I don't.
But it's true, though, because you've never been, called out in the middle of the class for being stupid. Now, granted, none of my professors...
Are you for fucking real?
Cállate la boca. So none of my professors have ever been like, well, that was a dumbass answer. That is why I am not a teacher, because someday I'd be like, well, that's a dumbass answer. But,
has your professor ever punched you in the jaw for giving a dumbass answer?
Okay, this isn't boot camp. All right, you get guns, I got brains, all right? Take that.
Are you, yet again, I was a chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons
and he
specialist.
Just keeps yammering, doesn't he?
Because you're being insulting.
You hit the wall and you start walking backwards. Yeah, that's right.
But yes, this is the 3L wall. This is what happens.
This is probably the most conversation we've had.
Yes, it is.
Since I've started 3L.
It is very hard.
It's literally been, 3.5 months now?
Yes.
And this is the most conversation we've had.
It's very hard to talk to you about anything.
This is best we've gotten along, actually.
It's very hard to try to relate to you about anything.
Well, I like you all of a sudden.
You generally don't relate to me
at
all because I'm not a textbook.
No, it's not because you're not a textbook. It's just because, never mind.
Yeah. And, like, wow.
Well, I feel like I'm in this world where I am like, I feel like, okay, so you know how there's like, what is that movie? Candy Crush? The movie with the kid and the candy? And
what the hell are you talking about?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph, okay.
So I feel like I'm in Wreck-It Ralph, right?
All right.
Like I feel like I'm in Candy Crush. Like I have got to fight the boring, inevitable drag and the dread of like all the boringness. Like I am walking through a sludge of boringness.
I think you're getting Wreck-It Ralph and 1984 confused.
You're horrible. I'm not eating it, okay? It's not Soylent Green. I am trudging through this, like,
I know,
sticky, horribly boring substance. And everyone around me is enjoying life. Life is fun. There's sunsets and there's colors and there's butterflies. But I don't get that. I am so not into that because right now I am just trying to get through the fact that my professor can't give me a lecture that coincides with what I read. Like, for the love of all that's righteous and holy.
I'll tell you a little secret right now. Since you started 3L, life has not been fun. It's actually been abhorrently just terrible, a struggle, a drudgery, a continual drudgery. And me and your children, and even your retarded dog over here.
He's not retarded. He's just slow.
Yeah, okay. We have all tried to put on a sunny air. We've attempted our best to make some sort of sunny disposition.
You're too incredibly British for him.
In hopes that it will make your 3L year easier. It has not worked.
No, it won't.
And we're getting
How did you not learn that from 1 and 2L?
Because 1 and 2L, you were at least enthusiastic. You were. There's a definite difference between you then.
I was not enthusiastic in 2L.
You were angrier a lot of the time. But anger was an emotion that you displayed.
I display emotions in 3L.
These days, it's like talking to a 2,000-year-old vampire. You're just bored with everything, aren't you? Just everything has lost its luster. I could walk in here with a gourmet 5-star steak dinner, and you would go, "These fries aren't done right." And you would set that steak down off to the side, right here, on the right-hand side of the desk where your refuse is.
Shut up.
And it would stay there until it went cold and somebody came to get it, because you've just lost interest in everything. I am surprised you still request food.
I ate a salad today. It was very delicious.
Salad. A store-bought bagged salad. And you were like, this is good, because it's a slightly different shade of gray than I am used to.
I had coffee this morning.
And you had black, unflavored, regular coffee in a gray mug with nothing on it. I'm pretty sure it's that mug over there where the handle broke off. Because why have a strange shape when you could just have a plain cylinder? A plain gray cylinder.
Okay, look. I think this is retarded.
I used to like olive drab. I used to like the color khaki. I even liked various shades of gray. And then my wife's personality turned those colors.
You're a jerk. That is not what I am. Not how I eat chocolate.
You ate half of a 2-inch long chocolate. You ate a 1 inch by 1 centimeter rectangle of chocolate.
Yes, but if
You put the other half down and went,
But if you have ever seen Ratatouille, you know that chocolate makes pictures and color flavors and da. See, you're clearly the 3-0 wall for you is completely different than it is for me. Our realities are not one and the same. And just as a side note, we have been married for 10 years. And this dysfunction is still continuing. It's ongoing. We'll let you know when the divorce proceedings begin.
Do you think it'll be that easy?
Yeah. See, I have always considered my marriage ripe for false imprisonment and kidnapping.
Because that's how it'll go.
Oh my goodness! And disregard that.
No one bails off this ship.
And disregard that if at any time that actually does happen, because this should never at any point be used as evidence. Which, by the way, is insane, and I hate. I love it, but I hate it. I just, once again, the 3-0 wall. I love. It's
from
like,
a spouse's point of view, your your significant other, the one in law school, their personality will change and they'll become very hard to live with.
But how am I any different than I was in 1-0?
Like I said, you've lost all interest in things.
I haven't lost all interest.
And you've become amazingly particular about everything.
No, I am. Yeah, I'm incredibly particular.
It's gotten much worse.
Oh, you be quiet. Well, because, you have to define it down. You have to be very specific.
And you, no.
What can I say? I'm sorry. I apologize. See? It's apology. That means nothing in law, but it's an apology.
I understand.
Oh, look, the real world. I am interacting in the real world. I am apologizing.
Thank you.
That's a thing. It means nothing to the rest of us.
That's the other thing is, as a spouse, anytime you say that you're sorry, they won't believe you. They just won't.
Well, because I'm sorry is not something you do in law. You can't just be like, Judge, I'm sorry.
Like, Grace sent me out for tacos. I guess I got the wrong kind of tacos. And I said that I was sorry. And that I offered to go get more tacos to mediate the problem. I guess I got the wrong kind of tacos. I apologized and offered to go get more tacos. That did not alleviate the situation. She told me she didn't want tacos anymore, and she spent the next week angry at me as if the tacos that I brought had somehow insulted her ancestors.
It wasn't the... oh, my. And this is why non-law folk are so irritating. Because they put so much emotion into things. Like, okay, so you brought me non-conforming goods. You had a chance to fix that.
I offered to go get you different tacos.
But it would have been past the time that deliverance was due.
Oh, God damn it.
So I wanted the tacos I wanted. And you brought me non-conforming goods. You're like, oh, I'll get you more tacos. But that would have been an hour later, which I was not into. So I went to bed. You breached the contract. I'm sorry. I love you. And you tried to deliver non-conforming goods, and I rejected the whole thing. All right? Now, the fact that you're so upset and so emotionally involved in this breach is ridiculous because I didn't even bring suit on this breach.
It's because us mere mortals still have emotion.
And you be quiet. You're going to be my next fact pattern. You're going to be my next fact pattern for my law students. Seriously. Like, it's not that I hate you or dislike you. It's the fact that you didn't bring me what I asked for, and I'm no longer interested. All right? And I'm okay with that. Like, I'll tell you one thing, law school has given me, like, the confidence. Because, remember before I started law school, I had, like, zero self-confidence,
that is
right?
true, yes.
Like, absolute zero self-confidence.
It was a serious issue.
Now that I'm in law school, I can look at you and be like, nope, wrong tacos. Bye-bye. So you better be careful what you wish for.
But to us muggles, it looks like you are...
House Slytherin.
No. More like, if your sudden disdain for tacos when I bring you new tacos shows me that you hold me in contempt. And that is the feeling that us muggles get.
Don't say that.
I understand.
That's wrong.
Okay, cool. You don't like us.
No. You use wrong words.
I'm
Be
using
quiet.
the wrong words.
I get what you're saying.
But and you know, that's how it feels for us. Now that has only become an issue in the 3rd year of law.
You know what though? I will admit it is harder for me now in 3L to care.
Yeah. And that's become a big
I won't
problem.
lie, it is, because normally I am a very like empathetic individual. Like I feel so bad for everyone. And these days it's much easier for me to be like, oh, that sucks for you. And then to go back to whatever it is that I was doing.
And you see
And
normal people.
And also to think that my time is more important than someone else's. I have never, I won't lie, in my life, like even when I was like an executive at a hospital, right? Never considered my time more important than someone else's. Now all of a sudden I'm like, move over, dear plebe. For my time, that's more important. Like I really, it's very strange. Maybe that's something I need to work on.
It definitely is.
But at the same time, like, how do I work on that when that's what they're teaching?
That's the thing is 3L, that is what they're teaching you. And I've looked in your books, and that's all they're teaching you for a whole year. Oh my God, it's the worst brainwashing I've ever seen, and I was in the Army.
It's pretty intense. Like, honestly, like, I'm a very self-aware individual. Like, I would say I'm almost more self-aware than most people I know, and that's very conceited, and that's probably 3L talk, but I mean, I'm very self-aware, and I have noticed myself come to this position where I fight myself thinking, am I more important than other people? Is my time more important than other people's time? And, you know, lucky for us, and not lucky at the same time, I guess, we're in the middle of a legal battle ourselves.
True.
So I'm on one side and the other side at the same time, so I get it.
Yeah.
Like, but then I have a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of mindset.
Yes.
I'm having a lot of problems with a lot of self-assessments we do in school because I'm like, part of my brain wants to go, well, I did it right, and the other part wants to be like, well, no.
Jekyll's around from morning to about 5, and at 5 is when Mr. Hyde comes out, and Hyde's just hard to live with.
But Hyde's more interested in school.
I know Hyde is more interested in school. Hyde's a dick.
So welcome to the Our Relationship Has Problems channel, and
well,
thank you for joining us.
The summary, though, is you 3L lawyers out there, know that this is happening to you. Your personality is changing.
We talked about this in 1L. It's happening.
Yes.
It's real.
And the people around you are going to resent it.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Because you can resent things in a good way.
So when you finally do get to that class where they try to teach you how to be a person again, oh boy, you should pay attention or you're not going to have any friends or family afterwards.
No, we have family because most of us go to law school online. Yeah, they're like us. They have beef. You know, they got beef with the law, so they're like me and you. We're like, we got some stuff to solve. Or they're like Miss Crimes, whose husband is an attorney, and you know, Miss Crimes has her own thing. She understands. Her husband understands. You know, like it's a thing. Most of us, we have a way to make it work. I do feel bad for those people. I mean, I had a pro bono. Shouldn't say that because that indicates that I'm an attorney, which I am not. I'm not giving any advice, blah, 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 blah. I had a student that I was trying to help with the FYLC, and she worked a regular Joe job, and her family, they didn't do any kind of law stuff. There was no beef. She was just doing it. I imagine it's harder for her. Imagine it's harder for her to explain to her family than it is if, you know, like you and I, we got a problem we got to solve. Like, we are sick of the system, and we want to fix it. And
I would like to note I am the first member of my family to actually learn enough law to understand what we're being convicted of. So
that's right. Go ahead and guess. Is it crimes against alligators, which is A? Is it crimes against laundry baskets, B? Or is it other C? You pick your choice.
A long family history of ignoring.
Well, but see, that's the reason, exactly the reason why I went to law is because I got sick of not knowing what we could do, what our options were.
Watching my dad burn down his house.
Exactly. Threatening to bury your mom on the hill. All right. So that's been it for tonight. It has been fun and jolly. I always enjoy these little tidbits with my spouse.
It's gonna be okay. Just, I don't know. Watch some motivational films.
Don't.
You'll want to analyze them. Listen to motivational instrumentals where nothing is said, no words are offered. Maybe go outside and listen to birds. Something that you can't understand, because otherwise you'll probably try to analyze it.
I'm a big fan of the fuck it meditations. I feel like 3L is a good place to begin listening to the fuck it all meditations.
I would agree, yes.
That will be helpful for the student. As for the spouse, I've got nothing to say aside from read your spouse's textbooks and don't be ignorant.
I'm going to bite you.
So this has been the BP Learning Hand and her significant other standing up for the evening. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.
Stay ignorant, spouses. We don't have to take their shit.
And like us on Facebook or whatever happens on Facebook. And I will talk to you later. Good evening, good sirs.